Hi guys, Valentina here. And for the last couple of months, the issue of intimate relationships has been sort of on the forefront for me. Not so much personally, yes, personally for sure, but probably because of clients, people I've worked with lately, and also things I start wondering about, watching news and talking to friends. And so, what's a good quality intimate relationship? Now, I bumped into a group of polyamorous people. And although, I know they exist and I know swingers exist and all that, I never really knew anybody, because I'm pretty sure the people that are like that, they don't like freely advertise it, most of them, especially if they have children and things like that. Maybe they're a little bit more covert about it, not to cause any troubles. But I bumped into a group of people who's very openly polyamorous, and it kind of got me triggered to think about, what are they doing and why are they doing it? What's really going on? Because I observed very interesting behaviors among them, and being a psychologist, I was curious. I was like, wow, look at how people act. And I'm always looking at signs of comfort and signs of discomfort. I'm a FACS certified practitioner, or I should say specialist. What that is, facial action coding system, where I know how to decode the emotional state of a human being based on the facial expressions and the micro expressions on the face. It was a system originated and evolved by Paul Ekman, and ever since it's gotten quite a bit of use in various kinds of settings, including places like interrogation, where agents need to interrogate witnesses and suspects to figure out what's going on, so it's a useful tool. Sometimes it's very useful for research purposes when people are trying to figure out emotional states. So I participated in, for 2 years now, I've been part of this research on emotion expression and suppression at called Poly. So I've been coding faces. So I'm just one of those people that's very curious about human expression and human emotion. And so here's me at a party looking at a bunch of people who consider themselves polyamorous and trying to define themselves exactly, some of them, and watching basically emotional expression and suppression. And I kind of act like I'm in the zoo sometimes. I'm just like totally mesmerized by what people are doing and then what they're saying and comparing. So one of the things that popped into my mind was like, what does it mean to be polyamorous? Like definition means loving many people. And then I thought to myself, well, I love many people as it is. Like I love my brother, I love my mother, I love my friends. I even love my pet chickens, It's like I'm loving a lot of beings. So like I should be, by definition, a polyamorous person. So then I thought, well, what these people are really interested in, because talking to them, a lot of them don't want to be in a girlfriend, boyfriend, or a life partner type of relationship. Some of them do, but some of them don't. And so I was thinking, well, maybe they're just polysexual, like they like to have sex with a variety of people. And these days we all need a label, right? We have all these labels for everything. And so, okay, we have another label now, we're polyamorous. So then I get on the internet and I try researching polyamory, and I find out it comes in all kinds of shapes and sizes and forms and people and blah, 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 everybody kind of defines it in their own way. And then I got me thinking, well, that's pretty much the case for every relationship. It doesn't matter what you call it. If you call it a traditional relationship, traditional heterosexual relationship between two partners of opposite sex, or you're talking about a gay couple, or you're talking about polygamy even. Like these are all types of relationships where people get together on the basis of some kind of a connection. And there is intimacy and there is sexuality involved in those relationships. So then I started wondering, what makes these things work? I mean, clearly two people have enough trouble by themselves. Like, what if you throw other people in the mix? Like, how complicated does this get? and where is it going? So anyway, my curiosity has kind of meandered me around various topics to reach a simple conclusion. So the conclusion is, what makes a relationship a satisfying experience, whatever you want to call the relationship, and whatever variety and however many people you want to throw in the mix. What makes a relationship like this, an intimate relationship like this, a satisfying experience for all involved, is the willingness to be yourself. Like, you cannot advertise yourself as something else. You cannot be like one way with this person and another way with this other person and be like a chameleon. So, okay, if you have one partner, you eventually show your true colors kind of thing. But if you have multiple partners, then it's even more necessary to be totally honest and totally open and authentic about who you are, so you're not confusing everybody and causing trouble. And what happens is, often we don't think we're good enough as we are, so we try to show our best face forward. We don't speak up when we need to speak up because we don't want to make waves. And then we kind of accumulate resentments and unspoken things, and then one day we blow up. Or we start to hide around. So what usually breaks a bond, what usually breaks a relationship, a good relationship, is someone is going outside of the boundaries of the relationship, doing things behind other people's back. And when the other people find out, they're not too happy about it. They feel left out. They feel betrayed, the whole 9 yards. And at the same time, it's like, how much do we need to volunteer information-wise within a relationship? We are our own beings. We cannot 100% disclose everything that's happening in our heads, nor should we. Like, we have a process. We're all thinking about things. We're all trying to figure things out. And sometimes, you know, we're figuring it out in our own heads before we tell other people what we figured out. So how much information should satisfy the requirement of being honest, being open? How much information should satisfy that? And then when you offer that information, you know, do you consider the impact that information has on the other people in the mix? Whether it's one partner, two partners, three partners, however many partners you have. I mean, geez, these days all kinds of stuff's happening. So how much information satisfies the right to know in the other person, and how much is too much and violates your right of privacy? So I'd like to figure that out. I've known, like, as a coach, I've known clients who come to me and tell me, look, I cheated on my wife or I cheated on my husband and I really regret it, and I want to know how not to do this anymore. So, you know, we work through the whole thing. Why do you do it? Blah, 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 blah. I just put them through this process, figure it out. And then I know they're committed to their partners. And then the question inevitably arises, should I tell them? And so I never know what to say. Sometimes they say, yeah, you absolutely should tell them. And if they don't like it and they leave you, those are the consequences of your actions. But sometimes I wonder if that is really the right answer. What if you did something stupid, like we all do stupid things? Some days you eat the wrong food and you get food poisoning, and other days you end up at the wrong place and you're talking to the wrong people and you get mad. Well, on one day of your life, you ended up in the wrong place and you had sex with a stranger or whatever, or a coworker or somebody you shouldn't have sex with. Now you officially are cheating on your partner. And then you sincerely regret it, and you know you'll never do it because it hurts like hell and you're super uncomfortable, and you know that if your partner knows about it, they're going to be heartbroken. But meanwhile, you're having an awesome relationship with your partner. I mean, those things are not mutually exclusive. Most people think that, oh, if somebody's cheating, something must be happening in their unit, in their main unit, their main partnership. And that it is true sometimes, because people are looking for outlets to satisfy things, but it's not always true. Sometimes people are just drunk, or they're under the influence of their friends, or they're in the wrong place at the wrong time, the wrong orgy kind of thing. Things can happen that don't mean anything, actually. So that's the variety of human behavior. You can't categorize all sexual behavior outside of the main unit as deliberate and based on some kind of bullshit that's going on in your own unit. Shit happens. So in those situations, what do? Do you like destroy your unit, or do you make a commitment within yourself that you screwed up and you'll never do this ever again, and then be nice to your partner, and if you bring it up, you might destroy the unit. If you don't bring it up, you might be a better person for it and be a better to your partner for it, and they'll never find out. So what's the right answer? So depending on what tradition you come from, you'll get different answers. So obviously, some people will be insistent that the right thing to do is always tell the truth. Well, that's great, but you know, even the doctors don't always tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right? So at what point the truth actually destroys a good thing that doesn't need to be destroyed at this time? So as a coach, that's a very challenging thing to coach people about. And you know, it's like my friends even, you know, sometimes they come up to me and they tell me stuff and I'm like, oh, I wish you didn't tell me, because now I'm going to think about it. And I'm going to know about it, and I don't want to know about it. So yeah, so that's how it all started, you know, just looking at people's behavior and trying to consider the right thing. Almost like moral psychology stuff. Like, do you take the Deontology or the utilitarian point of view, or do you somehow marry them together, and sometimes you're more utilitarian and sometimes you're less so, and you stick to what's right is universally right, it's always right, and that's the only way it's gonna be. Like, I will never lie, even if somebody's in my house trying to murder my children, and I will never lie that my children are not at home and they'll get murdered, but I did the right thing because I didn't lie. You know, it's like, seriously, get over it. So anyhow, these are the things I've been thinking about, but I think what's more important is how strongly committed you are to the good thing you already have and to the people in your life. And considering, yes, your actions, are they going to hurt the other person? And again, how much information is necessary to satisfy the requirement for openness and trust? And when do you stop volunteering information so that you can satisfy the requirement for privacy? Because those are two actually opposing things. And we both have both rights. We all have both rights. I have the right to know what my partner is up to. And at the same time, he has the right to privacy and I have the right to privacy. So, like, where does privacy end and openness begins? And where too much openness is now invasion of privacy. So these are questions each partnership has to answer for themselves and figure out where they're comfortable. And these are usually the places where people get stuck. They want to control the situation they can't control. For example, your partner wants to know everything about you because it makes them feel like they're in control of what's going on, like you're not doing anything crazy. You might be the same way. We usually hang on to the things we like, and sometimes a little too much. And by virtue of trying to hang on as tightly as we can not to lose something, we end up losing it because we're choking it and suffocating it. So as much as we want to know in grainy details every action of our partners, we also have to give them the room and the space and the privacy to be themselves and have their own private thoughts and private experiences and figure themselves out on their own. We cannot micromanage our partners. We should not micromanage our partners. And so I've been hearing about, you know, partners wanting to check their spouse's phones or you know, all kinds of stuff. It's like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't care what's in my phone. Maybe nothing is in my phone. Maybe nothing is in my email. But even if there was or there wasn't anything, that's like private shit. It's like the government even has laws about privacy and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Why would we break these laws within the unit? So anyway, these are interesting questions, and I'd love to hear some feedback from viewers. So if you have something to add or question or just throw at me, go for it. I'd love to hear your experiences, good, bad, the whole array. So please feel free and drop a line down in the comments. Take care. Bye.